Today we're going to have a go at making a watermark, and then we're going to show you how to do batch watermarks. So let's get started. First of all, let's make the watermark. So we File, New. We're going to change this to 72 dots and we're going to change it to pixels. I'm going to make it 9000 by 9000. And that should give me a nice square. Make sure the transparent background is ticked, and let's go create. Here we have our canvas. On top of our canvas we're now going to make a rectangle. So let's cover our background with a rectangle, and we need to have our rectangle black. So if we change it up here, and now our rectangle is lovely and black. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get our hand tool. We're going to go Control and 0 and center it in the page, so now we can see exactly what we've got. And we're also going to turn this background off now so we can see where we are. Let's make a rectangle again that we can use to put our writing on. Okay, there's our rectangle. Let's move it into the... Let's click on our rectangle itself. Move it down a little bit so we can see what we're working on. With our mouse middle wheel we can scroll in. Okay, so now for text. Okay, now we have our background black, and we're going to put the artistic text on. So we pick our artistic text tool. We're going to change the size to 20 so we can see it, and we're going to start typing. So Alt 0169 will give us our copyright symbol, and then we can also type copyright copyright 2022. I'm also going to put my email address on, so it's going to be photogen@email.com. Now I want to put us onto two separate lines, so let's return in there, and you can see now if we get the move tool, I can get on the corner and I can make this a bit smaller so it fits in nicely. I want a space in there as well. I go back to my artistic tool and click in there, put a space in, then highlight all the text, and I want to center it like so. Now then, I want this to sit right bang smack in the middle of this black square. So I'm going to click on that, get my hand tool again, click on that, hold down the shift key and click on the box as well, so I've got both of them selected. Go up here to alignment, align it that way, and now it's perfectly in the middle of the box. Okay, so now what I want to do is let's go to Control 0 and see how it looks on the page. Right, got plenty of space to work. We're now going to duplicate this, but first of all we're going to group these two together. So as they're both highlighted, we can now go Control and G, and that groups them together. You can see here the group. Open it up, you can see there's the text and the rectangle, and I close it up, so that's one group. But now we're going to copy this group. So we go Control and just drag it across, using the lines to make sure we get it perfectly together. There we go. That's two of them. Now again, if we select and collect that one together, press Control and drag it down, we can now make 4. Okay, so now we've got the 4 boxes. Now then, what we need to do now is to group these 4 together. So if we press on the top one, press the shift key in the bottom one, and Control G, and we can group them all together. Now they look a bit bigger, that, don't they? So let's make them a bit smaller. Okay, now this is where you can make a decision about how you're going to have it look. But first of all, we're going to go on here and duplicate. So we've got our spare for how we're going to use in the future. So if we want to change it, we could have copyright only or photogen only. We wouldn't have to remake it all again. We could just use this as a template. Right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to change this. So I need to open up this boxes, and I want to use this one up here. So let's see if that's the right one. Yep, that's the right one. And I want to turn off the lettering so we can't see it. And I want this to the same to this bottom one here. So we open it up, I turn off the lettering so you can't see it. There you go. Okay, turn it back so they're all together, put it back as a group, and you can now see how it looks with just the 2 in, where that's the original one with the 4 in. Now I've got how I like it. I am now going to make a copy of this group, so duplicate, and then I'm going to rasterize it so I can make it into a pattern. So rasterize. Okay, so now that's my selection, and I'm going to make a pattern with this selection. So we need to go to Layer, New Pattern and Layer from Selection, and click on that, and that's what we get. Now you can see it's miles too big at the moment. We did it like this so we could see what we were doing. So let's close it down, just get on the corner and drag it to how we think it looks about right. I think that's okay at that, don't you? Yeah. Okay, now it looks a bit straight on. I like mine to look a bit angled, so it doesn't look quite so uniform. But another thing, if I zoom in, you can see where the boxes haven't quite matched together properly. We have this white line showing through. That's the reason I did this black triangle behind. So if I click on that now and put the black background back in, all those lines disappear. Otherwise we'd have white lines on our finished product. Okay, back to Control 0 to get back to our full page. If we now hold down Shift and move it, we can move it in 15-degree increments. So I'm going to go for 30. There we go, that's 2. I think that's about nice. Okay, so I'm now happy with that. That's what I'm going to use as my watermark. So what I'm going to do now is save it. So we go File, and we have to export it as a JPEG. Export. So I've got a folder already made called Watermarks, what I made earlier, but I'm going to make a new documents. What we need to do now is make sure we save it somewhere that we're not going to have to remove it or move it somewhere else. So I think in Documents it would be pretty safe, or should I put it into Download? No, Documents I think is a pretty safe place to go. Let's put it in with our Affinity files, because that's, well, it'll be away from our photographs. But it'll be safe in here because we know these are our Affinity files. Okay, and we're going to call it Watermark 2022, and it was 9,000 pixels, wasn't it? Okay, so that's that one. So we're going to save that, and it's now been exported. Remember where you saved it. Okay, so now we can close this down, and we're going to save this, yes, as a Watermark 2022. I'm going to save it over the top of the last one I made, so I haven't got too many. And save.